Operation Sealords. The sun rises over the winding waterways of the Mekong Delta, casting golden reflections on the murky waters below. For centuries, these rivers have been the lifelines of local communities, carrying goods, food, and people from one village to another. But during the Vietnam War, these same waterways became the arteries of a hidden enemy, transporting weapons, supplies, and soldiers of the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces. It was here, in this intricate maze of rivers, canals and swamps, that the U.S. Navy would launch one of its most ambitious operations, Operation Sealords. The story begins in 1968. The U.S. military command recognized that controlling the rivers and canals of the Mekong Delta was essential to weakening the enemy's grip on South Vietnam. The Viet Cong had long relied on these waterways to move supplies undetected, using small boats, barges, and hidden storage sites along the banks. To counter this, the U.S. Navy devised a coordinated, multi-layered strategy, a blend of riverine patrols, amphibious raids, aerial reconnaissance, and direct naval engagement. Sealords was born out of necessity, a high-stakes campaign to dominate the rivers and deny the enemy the very routes they depended upon. At the heart of the operation were the patrol boat, river, or PBRs, small, fast, and heavily armed craft that could navigate the narrowest canals. These boats, often manned by 2 or 3 sailors, became the eyes and ears of the operation, patrolling waterways day and night. Accompanying them were larger riverine ships, capable of supporting sustained operations, carrying troops, supplies, and artillery. From the air, helicopters provided surveillance, rapid insertion, and fire support, ensuring that the enemy could find no safe haven along these vital channels. The early months of Operation Sealords were grueling. Patrols faced hidden ambushes, underwater obstacles, and the constant threat of sniper fire from dense riverbank foliage. Each mission required meticulous planning, precise navigation, and split-second decision-making. Sailors and Marines alike had to adapt to the unique challenges of riverine warfare, a realm very different from the open seas. Yet, despite the danger, the crews pressed on, knowing that every intercepted boat, every destroyed depot was a blow to the enemy's lifeline. Through the summer of 1968, the Sealords operation expanded. Coordinated strikes disrupted the enemy's supply chains, and intelligence networks mapped out hidden routes and storage areas. By combining river patrols with amphibious landings and aerial observation, the operation created an intricate net that slowly tightened around Viet Cong logistics. Each victory, while small in isolation, contributed to a larger strategy, one aimed at crippling the enemy's ability to sustain their forces and maintain control over the Delta. As the first part of the operation unfolded, it became clear that Sealords was more than just a military campaign. It was a test of ingenuity, endurance, and coordination, a showcase of how technology, strategy, and human courage could converge in one of the most challenging environments of the Vietnam War. The waterways, once neutral, were now battlegrounds. The rivers themselves seemed to pulse with the tension of conflict, echoing the struggle for control, survival, and the hope of turning the tide of the war. The operation has taken its first steps, establishing patrol routes, testing enemy defenses, and setting the stage for deeper incursions into the Mekong Delta. But the true challenge is only beginning. The enemy adapts quickly, and the Navy must respond with even greater coordination, courage, and strategy. As the monsoon rains soaked the Delta, transforming rivers into turbulent channels and roads into mud, the Navy's operations grew more daring. With the first months of Operation Sealords establishing patrol dominance, commanders now sought to expand their reach deeper into enemy territory. The Mekong Delta was no longer just a network of waterways. It was a complex battlefield, where every bend in the river could conceal hidden ambushes and every canal could hide a trap. The strategy evolved. Intelligence teams, working tirelessly with local informants, identified key Viet Cong supply points and smuggling routes. Every intercepted shipment revealed more about the enemy's network, allowing the Navy to anticipate movements and strike with precision. Amphibious teams, supported by riverine gunboats, carried out coordinated raids against these supply caches. Helicopters hovered overhead, scanning dense foliage and providing rapid fire support, ready to respond at a moment's notice. Each mission was a delicate balance of aggression and caution. One misstep could lead to catastrophic losses. Riverine patrols became increasingly complex. PBR crews navigated narrow canals under constant threat of mines, hidden explosives, and sniper fire. Yet, despite these dangers, the sailors displayed remarkable adaptability. They learned to read the subtle signs of enemy presence, a disturbed riverbank, a hidden dock, or the faintest movement in the reeds. Every success boosted morale, reinforcing the belief that control of the Delta's waterways could be achieved, one patrol at a time. Operation Sealords also demanded seamless coordination with ground forces. Marines and South Vietnamese troops often joined river patrols for combined strikes, securing enemy positions along the banks. Naval gunfire provided precise support, neutralizing fortifications and clearing paths for infantry operations. The integration of air, river, and land elements exemplified a modern approach to warfare, where no single force acted alone. The operation had become a symphony of military precision, each element reinforcing the other in a relentless pursuit of control. Despite the growing effectiveness, challenges persisted. The enemy adapted, employing decoys, false channels, and rapid redeployment to evade the Navy's net. Yet, every engagement honed the skills of the Riverine teams, transforming them into specialists of a unique and unforgiving theater of war. The Mekong Delta's waterways, once dominated by stealth and secrecy, were slowly coming under U.S. control, reshaping the dynamics of the conflict and disrupting the Viet Cong's ability to sustain their forces. Operation Sealords had firmly established a grip on the Delta's critical waterways. The Navy had proven its ability to dominate riverine warfare, but the conflict was far from over. Enemy ingenuity and the complexity of the terrain meant that the final chapters of the operation would demand even greater courage, coordination, and strategic vision. By 1970, the Mekong Delta had become a testament to the complexity and intensity of riverine warfare. Operation Sealords had evolved into a fully coordinated campaign, integrating naval patrols, amphibious assaults, aerial surveillance, and ground operations. The waterways, once the lifelines of the Viet Cong, now pulsed with the constant movement of U.S. Navy vessels, Marines, and allied forces asserting control over an environment that had long been a sanctuary for the enemy. The operation's final years demanded relentless perseverance. Intelligence continued to drive every mission, identifying hidden depots, secret landing sites, and clandestine river routes. PBR crews and larger riverine vessels operated under constant vigilance, confronting enemy mines, booby traps, and sniper positions with courage and precision. Each successful interdiction disrupted the flow of supplies, striking at the core of the Viet Cong's operational capacity. Amphibious teams executed rapid strikes along riverbanks, often facing fierce resistance, yet maintaining the initiative that had been established since the operation's inception. One of the defining features of Sealords was its integration of multiple forces into a cohesive strategy. Helicopters provided critical overwatch, gunfire support, and rapid insertion for ground troops, while naval units patrolled the labyrinth of rivers and canals. The synergy of land, air, and river forces created a relentless presence, denying the enemy any safe haven and forcing adaptation at every turn. Coordination became not just a tactic but a necessity, as every patrol, raid, and reconnaissance mission was a thread in the broader fabric of the campaign. As the operation drew toward its conclusion in 1971, the impact of Sealords became undeniable. The once thriving supply networks of the Viet Cong were fragmented. The Delta's waterways, once dominated by secrecy, were now firmly under Allied control. The operation had showcased the unique challenges of riverine warfare, blending technology, strategy, and human resilience to achieve a tactical and strategic advantage. Sailors, Marines, and Allied forces emerged not only as warriors but as innovators, mastering one of the most complex theaters of the Vietnam War. Operation Sealords stands as a defining chapter in naval history, demonstrating the power of coordinated, adaptive, and courageous action in the face of adversity. Its legacy resonates beyond the Mekong Delta, illustrating how strategy, determination, and mastery of the environment can shape the outcome of conflict. As the waters of the Delta return to their natural rhythm, the echoes of this bold operation continue to influence naval doctrine and riverine warfare for generations to come.